a river wide enough, baby.
If you need me, call me. No matter where you are, no matter how far.
Don't worry, baby.
Just call my name. I'll be there in a hurry. You don't have to worry. 'Cause baby, there ain't no mountain high enough. Ain't no valley low enough. Ain't no river wide enough to keep me from getting to you, baby.
Remember the day I set you free. I told you you could always count on me, darling. From that day on, I made a vow. I'll be there when you want me, some way, somehow. Oh, baby, there ain't no mountain high.
Welcome, Womanjika, Kia ora, aya, bienvenida, everyone here live. Woo-hoo. My name is Tess Zarsky. I'm one of the co-founders and the creator of the Community Collective. How fun. And today you are here for our cohort number 6 info session. It actually blows my mind that we have been running this program over 6 times now since 2022. So you are actually experiencing the refinement and the evolution of our polished experience to really help you build impactful communities. And it is so beautiful reading all of your beautiful words from the chat here in Butter. Even the LinkedIn pop-up community has been going off. That's so lovely. I can feel the connection even before we've even met. So thank you for even just contributing for words of the week, which is about resilience, feeling excitement, inspiration, which is so lovely. And I'm feeling very inspired to be here today and actually share with you what the hell is this program about. So really the purpose of today is to understand what is involved in our community cohort. How does it work? What are the outcomes? What's the application process? How do the scholarships work? And really understanding the time commitment as well, because there's honestly never going to probably be a good time to commit to an 8-week program. So you may as well bite the bullet. And really understanding also our alumni experience. We have Tila, Simon, and Leah here today with us live. And we also have our new community lead, Enos, here as our tech master in the chat, which is super exciting. And so really how today is going to work, we are basically going to go through everything that you need to know. But first, we believe in connection before content. So we are going to do a check-in. Then we're going to learn about the cohort with me. We'll have a fireside chat with our alumni so you can hear from their experience. And then we'll wrap up with next steps. And we have a very exciting gift to share with all of you at the very end. And then applications close in 2 hours. So if you really do want to join the program, make sure you apply in 2 hours before 12 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Now, 2 really important things to acknowledge before we jump into all of the different elements. One is the land in which we are gathering on today. So I am tuning in from the land of the Woiwurrung people, and it is just so lovely to also start and just acknowledge the traditional owners in which we gather. And of course, we're gathering from all these different types of locations. So if you don't know the traditional owners of the land that you're tuning in from, feel free to go to the link in the chat and have a look. And as well, I'd like to acknowledge this tech tool in which we are gathering on today. So Butter, has anyone used Butter before? You can put your hand up if you have used Butter, just your real physical hand. If you have used Butter, of course, all of our alumni have, thank the Lord. Okay, we've got a lot of people who haven't used Butter. All right, well, welcome to this delicious dairy-free tech platform. It is actually a tech tool from our first ever cohort speaker, Anna Maria. She is the head of community at Butter. She's based in the Netherlands, and this is an engaging tech tool to run online interactive sessions. So all you need to know is that there is some really fun reactions in Butter. So please, everyone, can you go to the reactions and click your favorite reaction? Mine is number 8. The big love heart hug. I mean, just how cute is that? There's some fire. There's like a party vibe going. So at any point, if you resonate with anything in which we're speaking about, please use the reactions. If you don't understand something, number 7 is definitely for you. We can go deeper. If something blows your mind, 0 is definitely for you. So this is a way for you to express yourself while you're here as well. There's also a soundboard in Butter, which only I have access to because that would be crazy. If you do have a question at any point, you can go into the queue and click I have a question, and we will get to that at the end before our fireside chat. And of course, in the chat, you have navigated there, which you can, of course, pop any questions if you don't want to get on the main stage. I have no hard feelings if you don't get up here with me. That's fine. All right, now that we're ready, set, and ready to roll. Also, you just realize like we're in this group experience right now. Like, yes, we're online and we're not in the same room, but there are people here who are exactly curious to learn more. So something that we're very curious to learn more about is this really big, important question. So at the start of every session, we do a check-in. And a check-in is basically to get a bit of a read of the room, understand how you can also show up today, and actually what you're hoping to get out of this program if you do join cohort number 6. So you'll see this poll in Butter, and basically what you can do is you can type your answer. And the question is, what are you hoping to achieve if you joined cohort number 6? You know, there's a reason why you're here today live. There's a reason why the Community Collective has come into your orbit. And so we're really curious, is there a particular skill that you might want to learn? Are you curious about the community strategy template? Do you just want to learn from Steph Claire Smith and Laura Henshaw? I mean, I'm such a fangirl, so yeah, that's totally fine. But we'll all give you about 30 to 60 seconds now to have a read through and submit your answer. Beautiful. There are so many lovely responses here. I love these elements of just more learnings. Yes, Tila, welcome, Warm and Jika, from Precious. Learn more about building engagement in communities. Yes, we actually fully flip engagement on its head in the cohort. And one, we talk about tactics, but 2, you get to experience how we engage you in the community itself. It's very meta in that way. It's very experiential learning at its best. Blows my mind. Network with the community. Yes, I mean, we will have about 100 people join the program, so you get 100 new friends. So you are actually, which is always very inspiring. Extend the impact with existing and more clients. Yep, learn how to grow an engaging community, leveraging more growth tactics. I love this, Leah. I mean, can you unmute and share a bit more about this growth tactics vibe? What are you, even the LinkedIn pop-up community has been going off.
Yeah, absolutely.
So lovely. I can feel the connection even before we've even met. So thank you for even
one of the things chatting with
full words of the week,
with
which
the
is about
co-founders of
feeling
the
excitement,
expert author community,
which is so
a beautiful
lovely.
And
I'm feeling very
launch lead
to be
and
here
community
today and
activator
actually
for.
share with you
We know
what the
that
hell
our North
is
Star
this
goal
program
is about.
So really the
100
purpose of today is to
write and
understand what is
publish their
involved
nonfiction
in our
business
community
books a year.
cohort.
So
how does it
are we
work? What are
challenging
the
ourselves there?
outcomes?
How are
What's
we
the
actually
application
growing?
process? How do the
Not just the
scholarships
number,
work?
but how are we
and
growing
really
the
understanding the
opportunity and the
time commitment
experience
as well.
So
Because
really that's
there's
something
honestly
that we've been
never
talking
going to
about
probably be
internally,
a
and I
good
know
time
that
to
they're
commit to an
very
8-week
excited
program.
for me
So
to
you may as well
join
bite the bullet.
the CC
And really
cohort 6
understanding
yet
also
again,
our
to
alumni
kind of
experience.
dig in
We
and have a little bit more
Tila,
focus
Simon, and
than
Leah
just the
here
general
today with
learnings,
us
which were more of a
live.
focus for me
And
the
we
last
also have
couple of
new
times
community
I've gone through
lead,
the
Ines,
program. This
here
will
is
be
our
my
tech
third.
master in the chat.
My
which is
God, I
super
love
exciting.
that. I love
And
that.
so
Yeah,
really how
looking,
today is
you know,
gonna work, we are
and
basically gonna
revisiting
go
what
through
community
everything
means
that
to
you need to
you
know.
at
But
every
first, we believe
stage, you know,
in
of the year and
connection
obviously
for
of a
content. So we're
company.
gonna do
You know,
a
what community was
check-in.
for the Community Collective
Then we're going to
2.5
learn
years ago is
about the
very
cohort
different
with
to what
me.
it is
We'll have a
now.
fireside chat
So I
with
also
our alumni,
see,
so
you know,
can hear
there's
from their
that element around
experience.
how do you
And
even
then we'll wrap
scale
up with next
community
steps
and not jeopardize the
we have
member
a very
experience? How
exciting
do you
guest to
stay
share with all of
relevant
you
and
at the
actually
very
support
end.
people on that
And
kind of
then
longevity?
applications
So,
close in 2 hours.
thanks
So if
for
you
sharing,
really do
Leah.
want to join
Really
the program,
appreciate that.
make sure you
Yeah, and thanks
apply
to everyone
in
else
2
for sharing all of
hours
these
before 12
awesome
p.m.
elements. I mean, you're
Central
definitely in the right
Standard
place
Time.
if you're keen to
Now,
really dig into
2
what it
really
means to build an
important things to
impactful
acknowledge
community for a
before we
business
jump into
that
all of the
actually
different
cares about
elements.
people.
One is the
So
land in which we are
let's wrap
gathering on
our
today.
check-in
So I am
there.
tuning in
I
from
really
the
appreciate
land
all of the
of
different
the
shares.
Woiwurrung people.
Now you
And
get
it
to
is just
actually
so lovely to
understand a
also
little bit
start
more
and just
about the
acknowledge the
program
traditional owners
itself.
in which we
So
gather. And of
again,
course, we're
if you have
gathering
any
from all these
questions
different
or
types of
things that you
locations.
really
So if you
resonate
don't know
with,
the
like
traditional
use the
owners of the
reactions in
land
butter,
that
post
you're tuning in
things
from, feel
in
free
the
to
chat
go
there,
to
because
the
really
link in the
this is
chat
about really
and have a look.
understanding
And as
why
well,
our
I'd like to
community
acknowledge
cohort
this tech tool in which we
exists.
are gathering
You know,
on
I think
today.
there's
So
this
Butter,
element
has
around
anyone
what is
used
community
Butter before?
building.
You
If
can put your
you've
hand up
ever
if you
had
have
that
used Butter,
feeling
just
where
a
you've
real
explained
physical hand if
your
you have
vision
used
or
Butter.
what your
Of
role
course,
is
all
to
of our
someone and they
alumni
didn't really
have,
understand
thank
it,
the Lord.
you know, community
Okay,
can
we've got
be
a lot
quite
of
confusing
people who
in that
haven't
element.
used
And
Butter.
so
All right,
really
well,
that is
welcome to
one of the
this
reasons why
delicious
our cohort exists,
dairy-free
to really
tech platform. It
demystify
is actually a
community
tech tool
building as a
from
growth
our
strategy
first
for a
ever
company,
cohort
but also
speaker,
as
Anna
a freaking
Maria. She is
amazing
the head of
career.
Community at Butter.
And so
She's
our
based in the
vision is actually
Netherlands,
to
and this
lead
is
a
an
global
engaging tech
movement
tool to
that
run
establishes
online
community building
interactive
as the
sessions.
most
So all you
impactful
need to know
business
is
strategy
that there is some
that a
really
company
fun
can have,
reactions in
not just
Butter.
to
So please,
amplify its
everyone,
growth,
can
but
you go to the
actually to
reactions and
impact
click
the
your
lives of
favorite
their
reaction?
customers,
Mine
their
is
team,
number 8.
and their
The
audience
big
as
love
well.
heart hug.
Because building a
Just how cute
community
is
isn't
that?
just about
There's
putting
some
people in the Slack
fire. There's
channel.
like a
It's not
party
about just
vibe
launching some
going.
new WhatsApp
So at
group where
any
people
point,
feel
if you resonate
scared that it's
with
next to their family
anything
chat.
in which we're
And now in
speaking
a
about,
professional
please use the
sense, you know, it's
reactions.
actually
If you
so
don't
much
understand
deeper
something,
because
number 7 is definitely for
community
you.
is the
We
new
can go deeper.
currency.
If
We are
something
seeing
blows your
more and
mind,
more
0 is
companies
definitely for you.
actually
So this is a way for you to
prioritize
express yourself
community
while you're here
as
as well.
you
There's
know,
also a
a full
soundboard in
pillar
Butter,
in their
which only I
business,
have
but
access to
also a
because that was
key
crazy.
section of their
If
strategy.
you do have a question
And
at
so,
any
for
point, you can
example,
go
I
to
mean,
the
at a
queue and
reaction,
click
have you
I
heard of
have a
this company
question, and
called
we will get to
Canva?
that at the
They
end
helped us make these
before our
slides that you're
fireside
looking
chat.
at right
And
now.
of
I
course,
mean,
in the
Canva
chat, you
exists
have
to
navigated there,
empower
which
the
you can,
world
of
to
course, pop
design,
any questions
and they
that
have
you don't want to
hundreds
get on
and
the main
thousands
stage.
of
I have no hard feelings
Canvassadors,
if you don't get up here with
ambassadors
me,
of
that's fine.
Canva, who help
All right, now
people
that we're ready,
use this new
set,
tool.
and
They have
ready to
communities
roll,
of teachers
we
in
have a ritual
third world
here at the
countries
CC
who
where we
teach each
actually
other
take
how
a
to
group
design
photo
on Canva
before the
so
start
they
of
can
every
run
session
more
to
engaging
actually put
sessions
in a
in
photo album
schools.
that we
They
gather
have no
every year
doubt
and
pioneered
share
in
all of the
community
different memories. So
building
if you would
and
like
actually
to
built
be in
them
a
one of the
group
most
photo,
companies that
you
have come out of
are not
Australia.
obliged to be in the group photo, but you're
Notion.
welcome to turn your
Does anyone
camera
use this
on.
tech tool
And
online
wow,
for
woo,
productivity
look at everyone's
and
beautiful
organization?
faces. Oh,
Notion have
everyone
hundreds
looks
and thousands
amazing.
of
Joey's
chapter
here.
communities
Oh,
all around the
Tanasi
world
from
across
Darwin,
180,
incredible. All right,
over
gang, we're going to
100
do a hand
different
gesture. We're going to do a
countries.
C.
And this is one of their chapter hosts
C for
where
the
people
community
gather to talk
for the
about how they
first
use
group
Notion.
photo. Yeah,
And
everyone's
no
looking
doubt that
amazing.
has
All right,
played into how
3,
many users
2,
they have.
1.
Locally here in Melbourne, Steph Claire
Stunning
Smith and Laura
divinity.
Henshaw have pioneered and built
Muy
one of the
bien.
world's largest
Okay,
female
gang, everyone's
fitness
looking
communities,
fabulous.
and
Also, you
through
just
their
realize
app
like we're in
Kick,
this group
and they
experience
have gathered
right now.
women
Yes,
all
we're
over the
online
world to
and we're not in the
change
same
the
room,
narrative around
but there
body
are people
image,
here
and
who are
community has played a
exactly
really strong part in
curious
that
to
as they
learn
do that
more.
on
So
Facebook and
something
online
that
as
we're
well
very
and in
curious
person.
to learn more about.
But the thing is,
is
building a
this
community
really
is
big,
tough.
important question.
It's really really
So at the start of every
exhausting
session,
being
we
the
do
face
a
of a
check-in,
brand,
and a check-in is
continuously talking to
basically to
people
get a
and
bit of a
trying to
read of
work
the
out
room,
what's the best thing for the business, what's the best
understand
thing for my
how you
members.
can also show
And
up today, and
paradoxically,
actually
it
what
can
you're hoping
feel
to get out of
really
this program
lonely.
if you do join Cohort
You know, in
96. So you'll see this poll
2018,
in
I
Butter, and
joined
basically what you
RMIT
can do is you can
Activator,
type your
and they
answer.
wanted me to
And the
fill
question is,
this
what are
co-working
you hoping to
space
achieve
as a
if you
community
joined
role.
Cohort number
And
6? You know,
this
there's a
3-story
reason why
building was
you're here today
absolutely
live. There's
empty,
a
and
reason why
I
the
was
Community
basically
Collective has
there
come
to
into your
make it
orbit.
full
And so
and
we're
build a
really
community
curious,
in
is
this
there a
co-working
particular
space through
skill
these
that you
accelerator
might want to
programs.
learn?
And I had no idea what community building was. You know, I was very, very confused about how to even go about this, and I felt like I actually didn't even know anyone in community building. I felt extremely lost. And it took me about 3 years to kind of navigate my way through all of this. And in the end, we did run 10 accelerator programs, to support startups to build a company. And as well, we actually left this co-working space at full capacity with hundreds of members and over 5,000 people in an online community. And this was extremely successful in the end, but it was also extremely confusing and very hard to navigate. And then you throw in a pandemic in Melbourne. This was actually a film photo I took of the room that I was in lockdown for over a year in Fitzroy North. It actually looks like a prison, but it's just these bars on these windows. But it was extremely tough. And this is one of the reasons why we actually started the Community Collective. And so if you don't know the origin story about how the Community Collective actually even started, it happened in 2021 when myself, Melia Rayner, and Jala Alex came together. Melia works at Blackbird Ventures, and at the time, Jala was working at Monash University and now at Thriday. And we said, hey, are you experiencing this kind of challenge?
There
Maybe
are
we
so
can bring
many
some people
lovely
together and actually
responses here.
help each other with this
I love these
profession.
elements of just
And
learnings,
it turns out a lot of people needed
yes,
help.
Sheila,
We brought
residency
together
scene,
17 people
from Precious,
in between the
learn
4th and
more
5th
about
Melbourne
building
lockdowns
engagement in
2021
communities.
Come on,
Yes,
to actually
we
talk about how to
fully
build
flip
communities
engagement
and
on
some of
its
the
head in the
challenges and the
cohort. And
stories
one, we
that
talk
people
about
shared
tactics,
were
but
insane.
two, you get to
And at the end of this
experience
meetup,
how
we said,
engage
hey, if you know anyone else that
in the
might need
community
some
itself,
support
it's very
and wants
better
to
in
lean
that
on
way.
each other,
It's
let them
very
know.
experiential.
But what we
learning
didn't
at a
realize would
test.
happen is we went viral.
Network with the community.
Hundreds
Yes,
of people
we'll have
shared
about
this
100 people
Airtable
join the
registration
program,
link.
so you get
All these
100 new
community
friends,
builders that we'd never even
which is always
heard of
very
from all around the
inspiring.
world
Extend
started
the impact
joining,
with
and we ran
existing
a
more
meetup
clients.
on Zoom
Yep,
once a
learn how
month
to grow
for
an
a
engaging
year in
community,
2020, leveraging more growth
and
tactics.
basically
I love this, Leah. I mean, can you unmute and share
And
a
in
bit more
2022,
about
we had over
this growth
500
tactics
people in
vibe?
this
What
group,
are you hoping and I quit my job, registered the Community Collective
Yeah,
as a company with Melia and Jala, and we went all in on building the Community Collective.
I think
and so Mel
one
and
of the
Giles
things
joined
chatting
the
with
advisory board, and I went full time, and we've
the
basically been
co-founders
running
of
the Community Collective as a program for
Expert
2.5
Community,
years.
which
And
is
so
a beautiful
we spent 3
community.
months
I am the
interviewing
launch
hundreds of
lead
community
and
builders around
activator for.
what would you want to learn
We
from
know
a
that our
program.
North Star
We
goal
partnered with
is
learning
about
designers from Scandinavia
helping
from
100
a
authors
methodology
write
called
and
Chaos
publish
Pilot to
their
then
nonfiction
design the
business
curriculum.
books a year.
And this is the
So
result
how are
of
we
the
challenging
program.
ourselves there? How are we
So
actually growing?
why the hell am I
not just the
involved in
number,
any of
but
this?
how are
Like,
we
why
growing the
do I
opportunity
care
and
so
the
much?
experience?
You know,
So
after that
really
kind of
that's something that
RMIT
we've been
experience,
talking
I
about
also
internally,
built
and I know that
community
they're
at Sister
very
Works,
excited
which is a
for me to
not-for-profit to
join
support asylum seeker
the
women.
CC Cohort
I had
6
experience
yet again
building
to kind
the
of
Startup
dig in
Network,
and have
which
a little
is one
bit
of
more of a
Australia's largest
focus
startup
than
communities, over
just the general
60,000 people in
learnings,
the
which were
network,
more of a focus
with
for me
online
the
memberships
last
and
couple
hundreds
of
of
times
in-person
I've gone
pitch
through this
nights
program. This will be my
over the
third.
years. And as well have
Oh my God, I
moved down the
love
surf
that. I
coast
love
and built
that. Yeah,
communities
looking
in person,
you know,
at our
and,
local
and
co-working space as
revisiting
well.
what community
And so
means to you
community
at
is
every
important
stage,
to me,
you know,
not
of
just
the year,
in my
obviously,
life,
of a
but
company,
also in
you know, what
professional
community was for the
world,
Community Collective 2.5 years ago
the
is
kind of
very different to
experiences
what
of
it is
realizing that
now. So
not
I
just a
also
community for a
see,
company
you know,
can
there's
change
like
a
that
life, but
element
also
around how do
just
you
a
even
community
scale
in your local
community
area. I've
and
had
not
experience
jeopardize
running
member
communities
experience
just how
for
do you
women
stay
who
relevant
don't have any
and actually
friends.
support
I've
people
moved
on that
towns
kind of longevity.
6 different
So,
times, and it's really hard
thanks for
to just
sharing,
meet
Leah.
people
Really
that
appreciate
you
that.
like
Yeah,
and
thanks
want to
to
hang out
everyone
with.
else for
And
sharing
so
all
we've
of these
created
awesome
potluck
elements.
communities.
I mean, you're definitely in the
with
right
over
place
98
if
women
you're
in
keen to
Facebook group
to
chats,
dig into what it
and
means
along
to
that
build
time,
an
I'm
impactful
also
community for
a
business.
musician.
that
So this is
actually
one of the
cares
first
about
communities
people.
I ever joined
So
when I started playing
let's
guitar when I
wrap
was 4 years
our
old.
check-in
And
there.
I've learned
I really
classical
appreciate all of
Suzuki
the
guitar
different
methods.
shares.
Now you get to actually understand a little bit more about
at the moment writing for Smiling
itself.
Mind, which is
So
lovely.
again, if you have
So
any
the reason I share
questions
this
or
is
things
one,
that you really
it's helpful to
resonate
know
with,
the story
like, use the
behind
reactions in Butter,
the
post
person that you
things
will spend
in
a lot
the
of time
chat
with in the
there,
program.
because
But
really
also
this
music is a big
about really
important element in
understanding
everything that we do in
why
live
our
sessions. You'll
community
notice
cohort
songs at the start and the end,
exists.
and also
You know, I
for
think there's
thinking
this
and
element
concentration.
around.
But today
what
is not about me.
community
Paz,
building. If you've
move
ever
over.
had
You know,
that
today is
feeling
about
where you've
you
explained
and actually
your
understanding
vision or what your
goals
role
and
is to
your
someone, and they didn't
ambitions. And
really
so
understand
the question
it.
today is,
You know, community
is this
can be
the
quite
right fit for
confusing
you
and
in that element?
really
And so
understanding
really that is one of
outcome
the
that you
reasons
want to
why our
experience.
cohort exists, to really demystify.
And so who is this actually for?
Community
You know,
building as
there's a lot of
strategy for
I
a
guess
company,
different
but
role
also
titles
as
that
a
you could
freaking
say that
amazing
relates to
career.
community building.
And
But
so
you
our
might
vision
resonate
is actually
with
to
the
lead a
profession
global
who is a
movement
community builder,
that
like
establishes
May
community
is at
building
the Wade
as the
Institute.
most
She
impactful
runs a
business
community
strategy for a university and helps people in the not just to space. Amplify its growth, or perhaps you were like four of the staff that joined from the Commons in cohort number 5 who build community in a co-working space, because building a community isn't just about putting people in a Slack channel. You were like Mary Blessing, It's not about just launching some new WhatsApp group where people feel people all over scared that it's next to their family chat, and now in a professional sense, or perhaps you were like Agustin, who runs Social Impact Hub online, which is an accelerator and runs a cohort-based program, which involves more companies actually prioritize community. Or perhaps you are like Annie Lau from cohort number 2, who is a founder in their business and is building Build Club, section of their strategy. And so, for example, I mean, at a reaction, have you heard of this company called Canva? And so, really thinking they helped us make these slides that you're looking at right now. Community Canva exists in your role to empower the world to design. People who they have marketing, sales, accelerators, partnerships, ecosystem leads, ambassadors of Canva, investment analysts. And so you don't have to have a community manager. They have communities of teachers to be a community builder. Countries. And if your role involves how to design on building, no matter what industry, we are agnostic in schools. And so we've had they have no doubt large tech companies like Google and Canva and actually built one of the people from not-for-profits and membership-based organizations. Notion. Does anyone use this tech tool online for productivity and organization? Even if you're a bit Notion has hundreds of thousands of you can apply these all around the world across 180 over 100. And it doesn't matter where you're based. We have, and this is one of their chapter hosts, where people gather to talk about how they use Notion. And no doubt that has played into how many users Where's that emoji? Someone give me a 0. Locally here in Melbourne, Steph Cliff and seriously, pioneered and built one of the world's largest female times of the week communities for a lot of different through their zones. So whilst and they have gathered women all over the world to fully remote the narrative around body image. Really, and community has played a really strong part in that. They do that on Facebook, Melbourne, Auckland, Lagos, Perth, New York, Bangalore. And there's a lot of different people catching up. But the biggest thing to remember really about exhausting being the face of a brand, continuously talking to people and trying to work out what's the best thing for the business, what's the best thing for my members that they can. And paradoxically, it can feel if you want to go really fast and learn alone, that's fine. Don't 2018. If you don't want to hear feedback or understand how other people are going through the community, don't join the cohort. If you don't really care about other tech tools and understand how this 3-story building with violations of community guidelines, like don't join the cohort. Basically there to. But if you are actually someone who and build a community, other people, and really through these accelerate about this profession. And I had no idea what community building was. I was very plus it's pretty weird when you join it about how to even community builders. I felt like I actually didn't even know anyone very community building in that sense. So what is the outcome? Like what do you? And it took me about 3 years to kind of navigate so let's talk about the 4 key skills around. And in the end, we did run 10 accelerator programs to support startups. So first up, you need a strategy. You need to know as well. We actually left this you can run blind, but having a plan and actually sitting down with your team and getting on the same page, even if you're a founder, get on the same page with yourself. Successful in the end, but it was also extremely confusing. This community going very hard to navigate, and then you throw in a pandemic in Melbourne. 5 and this was actually a film photo I took of the room that I was. And then you need to understand where are you now? What are these operations that you have in place? Do you have the correct tech stack? These windows, but dashboard helping you stay on top of metrics. How do you actually quantify? One of the reasons why we actually started the ROI, the return on investment of community. If you don't know the origin story about how, and then understanding how you're going to communicate this vision of where you want to go and where you are now to the people that when myself, Melia Rayner, and Jala Alex came together. Melia works at Blackbird Ventures, and at the time, community was working at Monash University. Would we be a community cohort if we didn't speak about it? We said, "Hey, are you experiencing this kind of challenge? So who is there to support you? We want to make sure that you have the skills help each other around you, so that even after the 8 weeks, it turns out a lot of people needed help. I've just had someone together swearing people in between the 4th and 5th Melbourne lockdowns as a community manager. How do I deal with this situation? To actually talk about how to build communities and some of the challenges, ambassadors, all these different types of people. And at the end of this meetup, and you'll actually, hey, if you know anyone else that might need some support and wants to lean on each other, let them know. And the beginning of every program, we ask you to rate hundreds of people shared this Airtable registration link. So all these community builders that we've never even heard of from all around the world started joining, and we ran a meetup where the cohort 4 was before they joined the Brown. 2020. That was the average one, and basically had how confident they felt about creating a community strategy. And in 2022, we asked them at the end to rate their skill level, and I quit my job, registered the Community Collective as a company with Melia and Jala. So this is the and we went all in on building the community, which is quite insane. If Mel and Jala joined the advisory board, and I went full time, and we've basically been running my God.
The Community Collective is a
we
program
lined up
for 2.5
some
years.
people to
And
help
so
you
we
in
spent
these
3
8
months
weeks. I mean,
interviewing
these cohort
hundreds
speakers,
of community builders
we've
around
been speaking to
what
some
would
of
you
these
want to
people
learn
for
from a program.
years. We partnered with
Years
learning
to
designers from
bring David
Scandinavia,
Steph,
Laura,
a
Valentina,
methodology
Derek
called
Sivers,
Chaos Pilot, to
Mariam,
then
and
design
Michael
the curriculum.
into
And this
this
is the
8-week
result of
experience.
the
And you're going to
program.
spend 75 minutes
So
each.
why the
with
hell
them
am I
live at a
involved
workshop
in
with the
any of this?
entire
Like, why do I
to
care
deep
so
dive
much?
into all these different
You know,
types
after that kind of RMIT experience,
because
these are the people that you can learn from around Sister Works, the mistakes they made, the wins they've had, so you can also I'd experience building the startup network. And so what's the actual experience? There's Mary Blessing people on the network with online memberships and hundreds of in-person pitch nights over the years, and as well as that weekly journey. Moved down the surf coast. And so understanding is in person at my local co-working space. Forget that. Week 0. And so community is important to me. It's the welcome week in my life, but also in professional worlds, our cohort portal, the kind of experiences of realizing that we have welcome calls, not just a community for a company can change your life, but also just a community in your local area. Mentors, I've had experience running communities all over the world for women who don't have any friends, even before it starts, 6 different times. And then in week 1, we'll have just our people kickoff call that you really understand and want to hang out with. And so we've created let's meet all these people. What is over 98 women in Facebook and really week 1 is all about your and along that time, so we want to make sure that you are set up for success. So this is one of the first communities I ever joined when I started playing guitar when I was 4 years old. And if you want to opt in, you can get matched with a cohort crew. And this is about 3 to 4 meditation, and at the moment writing for Smiling Mind, are based either at a similar stage. So the reason I share this is one, it's helpful to know the story behind on your goals and the person that you will spend a lot of time with in the program. But also, you get access to the elusive, everything that the amazing community strategy template that started years and years that we've built from scratch around how do you. But today is not about me, Paz. What are the elements? Move over. You know, today is about you. Feel free to post in the chat if you still use your strategy. Maybe you threw it in the bin, but the question today is. And really, this is when we bring in Steph and Laura. They really will be our first speakers to hear about how they build community at Kick on the fitness app. And so who is this actually really understand what there's a lot of, like in I guess, practice. Different role titles that you could say. Every Friday we have Cohort Connects for you to actually connect with each other because the profession who is a community builder like May itself is at the Way And then week 3 we go through all of the incredible university and help people and templates of hundreds of metrics. Or perhaps you were like ROI staff that joined from the Commons in and how to understand who build community in a co-working space. We'll have various cohort workshops, or perhaps you were like Mary Blessing, go to last program to really understand these metrics all over the world, calculate the ROI and how people do that in their community. Or perhaps you were like Augustine, who runs Social Impact Hub online, which is an accelerator and runs a cohort-based program, which involves connecting people through. And then you get access to the roadmap template. Or perhaps you were like Annie Lau. Now you've got a strategy of where you're going. The roadmap is how you operationalize that. Build Club. So week 4 is all about those Build Club. Okay, what do we need to set up? Who's doing what? Really helps people build with AI matrix and really thinking about no matter how you're going to delegate, elevate, community important in your role or in your company. Week 5. This is a new thing. Week 5 traditionally has been our break week, but we are bringing week 5 forward. So you don't have to have a community manager title, as people have said that the energy and momentum. And if your role is still alive in week 5, building, no matter what industry, we are agnostic. We get to hear and so we've had alum from large tech companies like Google and Canva join. We've had keynote speaker. He's done TED Talks, membership-based organizations. Built communities. He runs these insane venture capital firms all around the world. He has a band that comes even if you're a bit confused as to if this is for you, you can apply and talk about with our team clarity and creating. And it doesn't matter where you're based. We have here from Mariam Issa, 18 different countries. We've been living in Melbourne for the last couple of years. She's an author, also a keynote speaker. Emoji for that. And seriously, story. We run sessions at all different times of the week to cater for a lot of different times. There's an in-person public speaking workshop in Melbourne that's optional as well if you want to join that. And as well, at the end of week 5, we have a deadline to submit your community strategy. Melbourne, Auckland, Lagos, Perth, New York, Bangalore, to that, and there's a lot of different people catching the template. And then the biggest thing to remember about who this is for
what you're looking at on the screen right now is the Slack channel when everyone's submitted their community strategy template. That's actually Sean if you want to go fast and learn or learn Office and people don't join the cohort. Kind of live up to that. If you don't want to hear feedback or understand how other people are going through the community, your door, don't join the cohort. If you don't really care about other tech tools and understanding how people deal with violations of community guidelines, like don't join the cohort. But if you are actually someone who wants to meet other people, and then we introduce Give a Damn, where you get a break week to just, and this is definitely the space for you. Take stock. And plus, it's pretty weird when you join the community of community builders. And that's very, very meta. Read your strategy, you'll get feedback. What is the outcome? Like, what do you actually get? And you can also book in one-on-one program. So let's talk about the 4 key skills around then the curriculum that Yana works at is Canva. She's helped build. So first up, you need a strategy. An author. You need to know where you are going. Media, yes, you can run blind. And Ben Davies, but having a plan and actually sitting down with your team and getting also the advisor, even if you're a founder, get on the same page with yourself. And actually understand. We come back to the last 2 weeks of the program, and this is when we introduce and what do you hope to achieve in the next section, which is all about event strategy. So we've never done this in the program. And then you need to understand where are you now? What are these operations that you have in place? Do you have more about tech stack strategy? Do you have a data dashboard? Because events are such a metrics. How do you actually quantify the impact? And that is where we bring in the one and only David of Correll. He has built one of the element in the program. And then understanding how you're going to communicate this vision of where you want to go and where you are now to the people that matter. He's also interviewed people such as Tim Ferriss, Sahil Bloom, Ali Abdal, Gary Tan from Y Combinator, Tim Urban. Would we be a community cohort if we didn't speak about it? Probably not. That would be very embarrassing. He is incredible. So who is there to support you? We want to make sure that you have the skills and the people around you, so that you'll also learn from Valentina about how to get people to show up. I've just had someone, swear another member in a co-working space. And as well, we wrap up with as a community manager about how do I deal with this. So we take stock and understand we have coaches, mentors, editors, your goals, ambassadors, and we get our last speaker session with Derek Sivers. And you'll actually measure yourself and sold a company CD Baby for over 22 million. And when it was the beginning of every program, we then set up a charity and donated the majority of the funding level, and then toured and did TED Talks. This graph that you're looking at, we captured this. But he has written over 4 different programs. He'll be joining us about how to actually before they joined set boundaries. That was the average of the whole now that you're how confident they felt in creating a community strategy. And then we asked them at the end to rate. There's elements, of course, of in-person dinners that happen across major cities. When we have more than 8 members in a city, we allocate an alumni host, which is quite insane. But of course, you can catch up with people at any point and organize your own catch-ups if there are not allocated elements. Have we lined up in your city people to help? So any Canberra or Brisbane members, yes, we have a Brisbane. We actually have 2 Brisbane hosts for years now, so there'll be a week 1 to bring David, Steph, Laura, Valentina. We've got about Derek Sivers, Mariam, and Michael Canberra into this 8-week experience, and you're going to spend 75 minutes each with them live at a workshop with the entire we're gearing up for our alumni panel in a moment, but let's just give you a couple details experiences because these are the people cohort that you can learn from 6. Around we kick off mistakes they made, the wins they've had, get so 3 months access after the program ends to stay connected. And so what's the actual experience? You get access to all previous recordings, all the experience. Let me take you through what you get to watch that expect if you joined and run through that weekly journey. And as well, you can do this. And so understanding week 1. I mean, so the time commitment. Whilst I've just shared an insane 8-week journey, this program is designed to fit into someone's workload who works full time because we all have job portals, and as well if you're in between jobs, no stress. We have welcome calls with alumni, and of course, but we basically run on this week from our mentors. So every Monday morning, all over the world, email that you are set up for success even during that week, and then you can opt in. And then in week 1, we'll have anything kickoff call, and everything is optional. There's no minimum time commitment. What can you expect? Everything is recorded and uploaded to our portal within 48 hours. And really, we have workshops on Wednesday mornings, so we want to make sure that noons, if you're on the other side of the world in Lagos, clarity on what you're here to achieve in 8 weeks. That will be Tuesday nights, and then we'll match you. If you want to opt in, you can get Wednesday mornings with a cohort crew for you. And this is about 3 and then every Friday or every Thursday night, if you're on the other side of the world, based we have optional networking sessions. You can then co-working with every week on your goals, and this is kind of your support system as well. Week 2, you get access to the elusive,
in just
the amazing community
and
strategy
basically
template,
the application process
that we've built from
so
scratch.
if you would like to apply, you
simply
submit the written
what are the
application
elements
that go into
form. We
this.
can put the
application
alum
link in the
feel
chat
free to
now
post in
for
the
you.
chat if you
And
still
so that
use
will
your
be a
strategy.
written
Maybe you threw it in the
application,
bin,
and then you
but
can book a
who
call
knows?
with our
And
team
really,
to
this
chat
is when we
more
bring
about
in
your
Steph
goals
and
suitability
Laura.
for the
They will
program.
be
So
our
if you're not
first
sure,
speakers to hear about
that's
how
for
they
you.
build
And then as
community
well,
at
you'll get
Kick
an
on the fitness
offer
app
as well. So we
to
have
really
100
understand
spots per
what
program.
does
We
this
have
look
over
like
800
in
on the wait list. We've had about 60
Every
to apply
Friday
for
we
this
have Cohort
program
Connects
right
for you to actually
now.
connect with each
Probably get
other
another
because there's
30,
the
so
magic of
definitely
actually
throw your
meeting
hat in the
people
ring.
in the experience
And
itself.
then if you are
And then
accepted,
week 3,
we go
welcome journey
through
from March
all
and
of
get
the
access to
incredible
the full
metrics.
program.
We have lists.
So
And
there's 3
templates
different
of
packages you
hundreds of
can choose
metrics to
from. The
measure
base
the
package
actual
is the 8
ROI
weeks
of
plus the 3
community.
months.
So
And
this
how
is a
to
great one to
understand
start on.
how you can
And
communicate
also,
that
this is
value.
about 18 grand.
We'll have
worth
various
of
cohort
value,
workshops
for 2.6K.
with speakers. We had
So
Seth
how we
Godin last
calculate
program
that is
to really
there's a lot of
understand these
consulting that goes
metrics
along
and how to
in
actually
community
calculate the
strategy
ROI
and
and
how
how
to
people
actually
do
do
this.
that
So
in
if
their
you
community.
went and got
We
all
brought
this
in
value
culture
outside of the
last
program,
time,
and you'll
you'll
get
be up for
access to that
spending about
recording
18
around
grand
how
on
culture
all the different workshops, the
calculates
kind of
their
templates, and
metrics.
all of that support.
And you get
to really
access to the roadmap
understand, the
template
feedback
and
that
so
you need
now
and
you've
all
got a
of the
strategy of
resources
where you're going.
entailed.
The roadmap
So this
is
is
how
in
you
our program
operationalize
overview
that.
PDF. So
So week 4 is all
read
about those
that in your own
operations
time.
of, okay, what do we need
But
to
as
set
well,
up?
if you
Who's
need that
doing what? Let's
one-on-one
look at racy
coaching,
metrics,
you can
matrix,
also
and really
get the coaching
understand
package, and then you'll get
how you're
3
going to
sessions
delegate
with
Elevate
any coach
and then achieve
throughout
what
the
you've set
program
out
to really
to do.
dig deeper into any questions.
Week 5. This is a new
good news, bad news.
thing.
We have a
Week
residency
5
package. It's
traditionally
sold
has
out.
been
We've
our
got over
break week,
55 people,
but we are
in the
bringing week
lifetime
5 forward
and making it our
package,
public
which means they get
speaking
access
week.
to our
As
cohorts for
people
life.
have said that the
I know that
energy and
sounds really
momentum
weird.
Why would
Is
alumni
still
come back?
alive in
I'll
week
let you
5. So
hear
week
about that
5
in
is
the
all about
panel.
that communication.
But we
get
position
to
our
hear from Michael
program
Dixon
not
not
as a
oh my
membership.
God, I'm
There's
so
no
excited.
membership
This
to
man
join
is
the
a
community
genius.
collective. There's no
He is a
monthly
keynote
way
speaker. He's done
to
TED
stay
Talks.
and get
He's built
involved in the
communities.
community
He runs
collective.
these
We've been really
insane events
integral and
all around the
intentional about
world.
building
He has a
time-bound
band that comes with
experience,
him as he
similar
runs
to how
retreats and
conferences work.
offsites for
So if you've
companies.
ever
He is
been,
gonna
has
talk
anyone ever
about
been to a
clarity
conference
and
before?
creating
Go into the queue, just give me a thumbs up, thumbs down.
We're going to hear
If
from
you've ever
Mariam
attended
Issa,
a
an
conference
incredible
or a
refugee
time-bound
who has been
experience,
living
like a
in
music festival
Melbourne
in that sense.
for the last couple
A
of
lot
years.
of
She's
people.
an
And then
author,
again, have you
also
ever
a
gone
keynote
back
speaker,
to a
and she'll be
conference
speaking
twice?
about how to actually
Maybe you've gone
share
to
your
South by
story
Southwest Sydney
when you're
twice.
trying to
I've gone
communicate with your
to
community.
CMX Summit in San Francisco
There's an
twice.
in-person public
So the
speaking
reason
workshop
you go
in
back
Melbourne
is
that's
there's
optional
new speakers,
as well
there's
if you
new
want to
people,
join that.
there's new networking,
And
there's
as
new
well,
topics.
at the end
It's
of
the same
week
conference,
5, we have a
but it's a
deadline
new
to
way to
submit
get
your
inspired,
community strategy
motivated,
template.
and
So
meet new
if you want
people.
to
Same thing
commit
about
to
our
that,
cohort. We're
you
not
can
building a
submit
membership, we're
the
building a
template,
program.
and then our
but you get access
alumni
again
editors
and again
will
and
give you
again
feedback.
because you
What
will
you're
need
looking at
support
on the
in
screen
the
right
future
now
if you
is
so
the
choose to come
Slack
back.
channel when everyone's submitted
Totally get
their
finances
community
are
strategy
a
template.
barrier.
That's actually
That
Sean
is
taking a selfie from when he submitted it
from the
understood.
office, and people really
And so we have 10
kind of
full
live up to
scholarships
that in
per
that element.
program.
You'll also
You're
get
welcome
a
to apply
book
for a
delivered
scholarship
to your
We
door.
usually get
I
about
just 40
40
people apply for scholarships.
so many
what we
books
try and do is look at
from one of the
okay,
speakers.
can we
and
offer
you'll
more
get a
partial
gift if you submit
scholarships
your
and
strategy
50% off,
template,
80% off,
that book,
20% off,
goes
and
straight to your
and
door. So
access scholarships
then we
for more
introduce week
people.
6 where you get a break
There are
week to
writing
just
scholarships as well that are available,
take
so you
stock
can definitely
and
apply
actually
and
understand
see
what the
where
hell has
that
just
lands
happened over the last couple of weeks.
And the last
and
thing
that's
that
when
I
our
really want to
alumni
leave you
editors
with
will
before
read your
I
strategy. You'll get feedback
as to where you're at.
a methodology that I learned from Jess, who is one of the founders from Matched. And she spoke about this framework
at
Canva. She's helped build community at Miro. Tim
and
is
I
an
had this full
author, was
epiphany
co-founder
of
Junkie
saying,
Media,
oh wow,
which
this
he
framework
sold,
is literally
and
what
Ben
our
Davies
program is built upon.
And
from
so
MYOB,
the plus
and also the
equals
advisor
a
of the
minus
Community Collectives.
framework
I catch up with
says
Ben
that
in order to grow into an area that you're really passionate about.
We come back to the last 2 weeks of the program, and this is when we
further along.
introduced a new
people that are
section,
equal
which is all
to
about
you, that are
event
doing the same
same thing right now.
We've never done
and
this
people
in the
that are
program
earlier
before,
than you that you can
and
pass
basically
on
we
your
have
knowledge
feedback
to.
from alum who
And
wanted
this framework
to
is embedded in the program where we have coaches and speakers who've been doing this for decades and have mastered. And that is where we bring in the shortcut the amount of time that you might build one of the world's making failures or mistakes, insane and understanding what to do. Cohort-based programs called. Then of course you get people equal to you. We will gather. He's also interviewed people such as Tim Ferriss, Sahil Bloom, Ali Abdel, Gary Tan from Y Combinator, Tim to Urban, your growth. And then of course that's when we bring back alumni roles and ambassadors and editors, mentors and hosts to then pass on their knowledge to support you engaged online sessions from that perspective. You'll also learn from Valentina about how to get people to show up at your event and actually join. That is a shocking and as well we wrap approach to build community. Never build community for people. You have to build it with them. How'd you go on your goals? Co-creation is at the heart of everything that we do. So just remember, even if you don't join the program, please just
and sold a company, CD Baby, for over 22 million.
And I really hope that you experience. He then set up a charity and donated the majority of the funding. I'm going to pause here for any program-related questions to Neil, please. But feel free to unmute and ask yours. How can I? And he'll be joining us about how to actually set boundaries and say yes or no.
When does the elusive week 0 begin?
And going to go out into the world. Yes, week 0 begins technically. Week 0 there's elements, of course, of in-person dinners that happen across major cities when we have more than 8 members in the city. We allocate an alumni host to everything. But of course, you can catch up with people at any point and organize your own catch-ups if there are not allocated elements in your city. No worries. I can't wait. Any Canberra or Brisbane members? Yes, we have a Brisbane. We actually have 2 Brisbane hosts in the chat. Otherwise, give me a big thumbs up on your reactions if you're good to go, and we'll roll over. We've got about I've never seen so many thumbs up. So definitely. All right, gang, I'm going to pass it over. We have Tila here from Cake Equity. All right, before we're gearing up for our alumni panel in a moment, but let's just give you a couple of details. I know we get questions and the cohort, so please, we kick off in a month, give it up for our incredible alumni who are going to speak about 3 months access after the program ends to stay connected on the portal. Slack community, you get access to all previous recordings from all cohorts ever. Yes, you get to watch Seth Road and Sport
alumni about their experience. And as already mentioned, we have the wonderful Leah, who is a community.
So the time commitment. Whilst I've just shared an insane 8-week journey,
and
this program is designed to fit into someone's workload who is full-time.
Fun fact about Leah is that she grew up in Hawaii and has watched every single one of the CC sessions in the online library, which is in
so every Monday morning there's a weekly email for what
we also have Simon
during that week.
Simon is, as already mentioned, is the founder and CEO of 5 Teachers
so everything is optional. There's no minimum time commitment. Everything is recorded and uploaded to our portal within 48 hours. We have workshops on Wednesday mornings and Thursday afternoons if you're on the other side of the world in Lagos or London
senior
or Europe.
officer in the fire brigade, and he's also a big fan of winter sports. So
Wednesday mornings for you.
I'm going to start with you.
And then every Friday or every Thursday night, if you're on the other side of the world,
we'll
have optional networking sessions. We do co-working, which Enos runs, and then also one-on-one connections as well. So, Tania, I'll come to your question in just a moment. And basically the application process. So if you would like to apply, you simply submit the written application form. We can put the application link in the chat now for you. And so that will be a written application. And then you can book a call with our team to chat more about your goals and the suitability for the programs. If you're not sure, that's for you. And then as well, you'll get an offer as well. So we have 100 spots per program. We have over 800 on the wait list. We've had about 60 to apply for this program right now. We'll probably get another 30, so definitely throw your hat in the ring. And then if you are accepted, you'll enter our welcome journey for March and get access to the full program. So there's 3 different packages you can choose from. The base package is the 8 weeks plus the 3 months. So this is a great one to start on. And also this is about 18 grand worth of value for 2.6K. So how we calculate that is there's a lot of consulting that goes along in community strategy and how to actually do this. So if you went and got all of this value outside of the program, you'd be up for spending about 18 grand on all the different workshops, the kind of templates and all of that support to really understand the feedback that you need and all of the resources entailed. So this is in our program overview PDF. So I'll let you read that in your own time. But as well, if you need that one-on-one coaching, you can also get the coaching package.
And I think that's the thing, right? You've got to like continually evolve and iterate on that plan and strategy, and like as like you're building with your community.
Good news, bad news. We have a residency package. It's sold out.
Leah, your turn. I'd love to know. You've been through like, how many times now? Is that twice, 3 times?
They get access to
I'd love to know like what keeps you coming back.
I know that sounds really weird. Why would alumni come back? I'll let you hear about that in the past.
channel, but we position our program not as a membership. There's no membership to join the Community Collective. There's no monthly way to stay and get involved in the Community Collective. We've been really integral and intentional about building a time-bound experience, similar to how conferences work. So if you've ever been, has anyone ever been to a conference before? Go into the queue, just give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. If you've ever attended a conference or a time-bound experience, like a music festival in that sense. Okay, cool. A lot of people. And then again, have you ever gone back to a conference twice? You know, maybe you've gone to South by Southwest Sydney twice. I've gone to CMX Summit in San Francisco twice. So the reason you go back is there's new speakers, there's new people, there's new networking, there's new topics. It's the same conference, but it's a new way to get inspired, motivated, and
yeah, it's super meta in that you're learning how to build a community while being part of like what I
but you get access again and again and again because you will need support in the future if you choose to come back. Yeah. Totally get finances are a barrier. That
highlights of the program in your experience.
Totally understood. And so we have 10 full scholarships per program. You're welcome to apply for a scholarship. We usually get about 40 people apply for scholarships. So what we try and do is look at, okay, can we offer more partial scholarships and give 50% off, 80% off, 20% off, and access scholarships for more people. There are writing scholarships as well that are available. So you can definitely apply and see where that lands. And the last thing that I really want to leave you with before I throw over to Tila is a methodology that I learned from Jess, who is one of the founders from Matched. And she spoke about this framework called the plus, equals, and minus. And I had this full epiphany of saying, oh, wow, this framework is literally what our program is built upon. And so the plus, equals, and minus framework says that in order to grow into an area that you're really passionate about, you need to have people who are above you, they're further along than you, people that are equal to you, that are doing the same thing right now, and people that are earlier than you that you can pass on your knowledge to. And this framework is embedded in the program where we have coaches and speakers for you to learn from who've been doing this for decades and have mastered it, so you can shortcut the amount of time that you might waste making failures or mistakes and understanding not what to do. And of course, you get people equal to you. We will gather people who are at the same stage, who are fellow CCNs, that's what we call our members. Who are actually at a similar stage.
Yeah, I definitely had that experience.
And then, of
as well,
course, that's when we bring back alumni roles and ambassadors and editors,
I've got this
mentors and hosts
support of why I'm doing these things in my community, and also like knowing where I'm going with them. So definitely for me,
so
through my first one, like totally resonate with that. Leah, back to you. I've got a bit of a double barrel one for you this time. So firstly, like how has the cohort helped you towards your goals?
Co-creation
and
also at the heart of everything that we do.
Where were you before you
joined? Just remember, even if you don't join the program, please just co-create your spaces with people by getting them involved.
And I'm going to start and answer your second question
that you experienced that from the program
where I was
itself.
before I started the cohort.
I'm going to pause here for any program-related questions to Neil.
Gravitated towards
feel free to unmute and
towards
ask
community
yours.
and felt pretty confident working with people.
Very
However,
Thanks,
it
Paz.
was kind of the
when does the
understanding of how
elusive week
to
zero
implement
begin?
these kind of
week
pieces that I knew I understood, but
technically week zero begins together. 2 weeks before the program.
Really.
So the program starts on the 24th
journey
of March,
in myself
so 2 weeks before that,
from before I started the cohort to being able to speak confidently about not just community being a powerful thing and being important, but this is how you get from A to B. And this is how you get from 0 to 1 if you're thinking from a product perspective.
And
it
any
really
other
just
questions?
helps solidify all of these kind of
otherwise, give me a big thumbs up on your reactions if you're good to go, and we'll roll over.
Just solidified and
I've
made
never
me a
seen
much
so many
more
thumbs up.
valuable operator and made me a much more valuable
I'm going to pass it over. We have Tila here from Cake Equity.
Team member, in all honesty, because a lot of times I had all of these different examples as far as this is why we're doing it, not just I've done this before and it's worked. It's saying, no, this is exactly why, and here are these other speakers that have validated it, and here are these other opportunities, and here are these other examples. So I felt that there was just an elevation that I really went through
obviously,
as a
time to hear from our past cohort alumni about their experience. And as already mentioned, we have the wonderful Leah, who is a community
was how did the cohort help me work towards my goals?
And what the hell? And she's done the program twice and is a resident CCN.
As you can hear, I have an American accent.
Leah is that she grew up in Hawaii and has watched every single one of the CC sessions in the online library, which is insane. There is such
and people going through similar
and then we also have
stages of my
Simon.
career.
Simon is, as I already mentioned, is the founder and
so it
CEO
certainly
of
helped me
5
feel
Pieces based
less
in
alone in the
Victoria.
world, which is
He
just a really
also
lovely thing to have. On a deeper level, it certainly has helped connect me to a multitude of professional opportunities.
And also, fun fact about Simon is that
my
he's
new role I directly got through the
active
Community
serving
Collective.
senior officer in the fire brigade, and he's also a big fan of winter sports. So
yeah, that's
very
fun.
well rounded here. Simon, I'm going to start with you.
It certainly has helped
me
to kind of say, to put goals on paper and actually reach for goals and actually make things attainable and have that bit of a roadmap rather than saying, oh, I'd like to do this, but it won't happen because of X, Y, and Z. It's really helped the accountability piece for me. And again, I'm sure we're going to talk about it later, but if you're thinking about really looking for a tangible outcome, being able to build a community strategy, not necessarily hand-holding, but going through it with other people. You know, Tila, I know specifically you and I during my first cohort were WhatsApping each other and Slacking each other, being like, I'm stuck here, what do you think about this? Having those thought partners and then being able to have a tangible piece of work coming out of it and then being able to implement it and iterate it on it for years to come has been that's been a really, really wonderful goal, and I'm really proud of myself for being able to hit it.
I totally remember that as well. That was great fun having each other to chat with, to be like, how do I answer this bit? What are you doing for that? It was, so valuable. And I think circling back to your first part of that answer, like the thing that really hit home for me is like, I also had that innate knowledge of what I want to try and do in community, but I really feel like the Community Collective solidifies the why and gives you that confidence to speak to like why it should be X, Y, and Z. Thanks, Leah. Simon, back to you. You've joined as a resident CCN for lifetime access to the cohort. What are you looking forward to about coming back? And I think that's the thing, right? You've got to continually evolve and iterate on that plan and strategy, and as says, you're building with your community, and that's something that's constantly evolving. Leah, your turn. I'd love to know, you've been through how many times now? Is that twice, 3 times? I'd love to know what keeps you coming back.
Yeah, but absolutely. To be in the room with them, I've been through the program twice, and I'm joining the next cohort as my 3rd time. It's really easy, the learning, and I think it's important to kind of note, that's amazing. Mentioned it, but the Community Collective runs such a polished program, so I feel like you're getting 2 different learning opportunities simultaneously. You're learning from all of these incredible speakers on all of these really impressive topics, but you're also learning while you're within the Community Collective. Everything is done very intentionally.
I need to revisit my strategy because what I did late last year was relevant then,
showcasing this is how we build the Community Collective, and this is why. And so being able to kind of have those learnings just compound what you're able to extrapolate and then infuse into your business.
More for the gaps that are obvious, still obvious to me, but I really need to build on. I'm back for more. I'm hungry for it. I can't.
It's super meta in that you're learning how to build a community while being part of what I think is
in the middle of the launch. There's lots going on. Life's hectic. I'm coming. I'll be there.
Absolutely.
So good. I love your enthusiasm. That's amazing. And the list of speakers, it's just, I think my first cohort was maybe cohort 3. It just goes next level each time. I think Kaz can't outdo herself this time, and then she just does. It's insane. Leah, coming back to you, how would you describe the vibe of the cohort?
Building a community strategy.
Oh, it's a ton of fun. Honestly, Simon, I look forward to seeing you in the next cohort. So we'll Slack and we'll chat then.
Unbelievable experts out
if you're looking for an opportunity during this program, or if you're looking for an opportunity to have a bunch of people that are just going to make your day better, if you're going to want an opportunity to have professional development and joy infused at the same moment, it's high energy, it's really supportive. There's always opportunities for networking and learning and growth. My personal and professional network again has multiplied from the Community Collective. But really, at the end of the day, it's just a ton of fun. Like, you're going and you're learning how to make community better, and you're learning how to upskill yourself with a bunch of people and really fun songs. Usually,
the difference here was
all the time. I shouldn't say usually. The songs are always pretty on point.
Concerns by having gone through the program.
Totally, Fab. We'll click to the final rapid fire question. Leah, I'll stick with you. What advice would you give to anyone who's on the call today or watching this later that's like on the fence?
But it was an unexpected
I say apply. I'm living proof that Paz and I were in conversations, I want to say before cohort 3.
Yeah, I definitely had that experience as well, like coming in and then like having this document of like, I've got this backup support of why I'm doing these things in my community and also like knowing where I'm going with them. So it's definitely for me, through my first one, like totally resonate with that. Leah, back to you. I've got a bit of a double barrel one for you this time. So firstly, like how has the cohort helped you towards your goals? And also answering that, where were you, Simon, before you joined, and where are you at?
Well, it's time and it's money is most people's
absolutely
complaints or excuses.
I'm going to start and answer your second question first.
The time is never
where
a
I was
perfect time.
before
So
I started the
Leah's already
cohort
talked to that.
was someone who
dollar side of
inherently
things, Paz
gravitated
has
towards community and felt pretty confident working with people. However,
that's really
it
what's holding
was
you back.
kind of the understanding of how to implement these kind of
there's so much more
pieces that I knew I understood, but how to fit everything together.
If there's a
Really
scholarship type
really I see this journey in myself
if you're still not
from before I started the cohort to being able to speak confidently about not just community being a powerful thing and being important, but this is how you get from A to B. And this is how you get from 0 to 1.
As handing back over to you, thank you so much, Simon and Leah. Love chatting to you both.
So for me, it really just solidified and made me a much more valuable operator, and made me a much more valuable,
just like so many words of wisdom. I mean, I can't wait to see all three
team member. In all honesty, because a lot of times I had all of these different examples.
Thank you so
as
much,
far as this is why we're doing it, not just I've done this before and it's worked. It's saying no, this is exactly why, and here are these other speakers that have validated it, and here are these other opportunities, and here are these other examples. So I felt that there was just an elevation that I
people, and I hope you've kind of just gotten a vibe, a taste of what that kind of experience might be like.
And then your first question, again, if I'm not mistaken,
if you do have any
how did the
final
cohort help
questions
me
or
work towards my goals?
That's why we kind of book a call with you one-on-one.
Depends which goal,
really
right?
Talk about this. So
as you can hear, I have an American accent.
For joining us
I moved to
live.
Australia
I'm going to wrap up with the next steps, the gift.
The Community
Of course,
Collective
I will give
has
that to
introduced
you.
me to
But really,
friends
it's just been so
and
lovely
thought
having you all
partners and
here
people
today,
going through similar
get a bit of a taste
stages of my career, of opportunities.
As mentioned, there is
so it
1 hour and 2 minutes before
less alone in the world, which is just a really lovely thing to have. On a deeper level, it certainly helps connect me to a multitude of professional opportunities. My new role I directly got through the Community Collective.
And if you have concerns, just apply, book a call, and chat with us. Then you can
that's
still get
fun.
accepted.
I love that.
Obviously, still decide if you want to join. Run,
certainly has
run, Tila.
Me to kind of say
and our
to
program
put goals on
overview
paper
guide
and
is a
actually
PDF.
reach for goals and actually make things attainable,
your team
and have that bit of a roadmap rather than saying, "Oh, I'd like to do this, but it won't happen because of X, Y, and Z." It's really helped the accountability
and of course connect with our alumni. Connect with Leah, Tila, Simon,
and again,
send them a message on LinkedIn.
We're going to talk about
ask
later.
them a question.
But if you're
speak to them about
really
something that you might be on the fence about,
being able to build a community strategy.
But if there's anything that has
not
kind of
necessarily
resonated with you and you
but
feel
going
curious
through it
or
with
a
other
charm
people,
or
Tila, I know specifically
as to why
you and I
this is
during
resonating with you, then
my
just
first cohort
bite the
were
bullet.
WhatsApping each other and slacking each other, being like, "I'm stuck here. What do you think about this?" So having those
you will all get
and
an email in 1 minute,
and have a
there is a gift to
tangible
give you all free access
piece
to our
of work
resource
coming out
library.
of it, and then being able to implement it and iterate it on it for years to come.
Articles, frameworks, reports about community building.
Really wonderful.
I have curated that our whole community over the last 3 years leaders have built and curated.
Yeah, I totally remember that as well. That
a
was
couple
great fun
$100
having each other to chat with to be like,
access. It's in the email. You just
what are
click
you
the link.
doing for that? It was,
and
so valuable.
steps.
And I
So
think circling
thank
back
you all
to your
so much for
first part of that
joining.
answer, like the thing that really hit home for me is like,
Fun time.
I also had that innate
That
like knowledge of
was
what I
Leah,
want to
Teal,
try and do in
Simon, you're
community,
amazing.
but I really
Enos,
feel like the
thanks
community
for being all the
collective
vibes.
solidifies the why and
Congrats
gives you that
everyone for just
confidence
being
to
here and
speak to
having
like
some fun.
why it should be
I will see you on
X,
the
Y,
other
and
side
Z.
in cohort number 6.
Yeah,
Bye
thanks,
everyone.
Leah.
Have a beautiful
Simon,
day.
back to you. You've joined as a resident CCN for lifetime access to the cohort. What are you looking forward to about coming back?
They say, oh my God, I
Have
see
you
the way
seen
you
the list
shine.
of guest speakers
Take
and
your hand, my
presenters?
dear, and place them both in mine.
There are people there
You
that
know
never
you
you get
stopped
to see
me
them
dead while I
or
was
spend time
passing
personally
by.
with them in any other way.
And now I beg to see
You can
you
see them
dance just one
perhaps
more
on YouTube,
time.
on a TED Talk,
Ooh,
but
I
to be
see
in the
you,
room
see
with
you,
them
see
thinking
you
about
every
you and where we're
time.
at, there are
And
things
oh my, I like your style.
put me in those rooms every day.
Make me wanna
That's
try.
amazing. But
And now
to be
I
personal
beg to
about
see
it though,
you
the
dance
other
just one
part
more
here is
time.
I'm in the middle of a product
Dance for me,
launch
dance
in
for
my
me,
business,
dance for me.
and I know that community needs
Never seen
central to
anybody do
success
the
of
things you
product
do
launch
before.
and for us, the
They
future of our
say,
company to really
move for me,
thrive.
move for me, move for me.
I need to revisit my strategy because what I did
And when
late
you're done,
last
I'll
year
make
was
you
relevant
do it
then,
all
but it's
again.
evolving even only
I
this
said,
many
oh
months
my
later.
God, I
I
see
need to
you
be shifting
walking
and
by.
adjusting. I need to be going through my strategy.
Take my hands, my
And
dear,
I
and
just
look
need to
me
learn
in
and
my
understand more for the
eyes.
gaps that are obvious,
Just like
still
a
obvious to
monkey,
me, but I
I've
really
been
need to build
dancing
on.
my whole
I'm back for
life.
more. I'm hungry for
But
it.
you just
Can't help
beg
it.
to see me dance just
Can't
one
wait
more
to
time.
tap in and be part of it again. Despite the fact that it's in the middle of a launch, there's lots going on, life hectic. I'm coming. I'll be there.
So good. I love your enthusiasm. That's amazing. And yeah, like the list of speakers, like it's just, I think my first cohort was maybe cohort 3. It just goes like next level each time. I think Taz can't outdo herself this time, and then she just does. Like it's insane. Leah, coming back to you, how would you describe the vibe of the cohort?
Oh, it's a ton of fun. Honestly. Simon, I look forward to seeing you in the next cohort, so we'll Slack and chat then. If you're looking for an opportunity during this program, have a bunch of people that are just going to make your day better. If you're going to want an opportunity to have professional development and joy infused at the same moment, it's high energy, it's really supportive. There's always opportunities for networking and learning and growth. My personal and professional network, again, has multiplied from the Community Collective. But really, at the end of the day, it's just a ton of fun. Like, you're going and you're learning how to make community better, and you're learning how to upskill yourself with a bunch of people and really fun songs, usually. Not all the time. I should say, the songs are always pretty on point.
Totally fab. We'll click to the final rapid fire question. Leah, I'll stick with you. What advice would you give to anyone who's on the call today or watching this later that's like on the fence?
I say advice. I'm living through. Taz and I were in conversations, I want to say before cohort 3, about my application. I ended up thinking I didn't have enough time and I had too much on. And I didn't go for it. And I waited until a whole nother cohort, and I regret that decision. So you can always make the time work. You can always tailor it towards your goals and what you're trying to achieve in that moment. But I say if you're interested, jump on in, my friend.
You, Simon?
Well, it's time and it's money is most people's complaints or excuses, and the time. There's never a perfect time. So Leah's already talked to that. The dollar side of things. Well, Paz has a program that can keep people in mind when it comes to that sort of thing. So if that's really what's holding you back, you get more value than what it's worth. Like there's so much more value than what it's worth. But you've got no excuses then if there's a generous scholarship type opportunity there. So dive in. If you're still not sure, you put your application in. You get a chance to have a brief interview anyway afterwards to find out and learn more. So what have you got to lose?
that. Paz, handing back over to you. Thank you so much, Simon and Leah. Loved chatting to you both.
Oh, wow. Thank you all so much for sharing. Oh, just like so many words of wisdom. I mean, I can't wait to see all three of you back in cohort 6. I'm like so excited. It feels like a reunion every time. So thank you so much, Tila, for moderating. Simon, for all your words of wisdom, definitely from that kind of founder perspective. I'm also very excited about the speakers. And Leah, just congrats on your new job again. I'm like so proud of you. So it's just so lovely to bring together people, and I hope you've kind of just gotten a vibe, a taste of what that kind of experience might be like. And so if you if you do have any final questions or concerns, that's why we kind of book a call with you one-on-one with our team to really talk about this. So just thank you all again for joining us live. I'm going to wrap up with the next steps. The gift, of course, I will give that to you. But really, it's just been so lovely having you all here today to get a bit of a taste of the Community Collective is really what this is all about. So as mentioned, there is 1 hour and 2 minutes before applications close. So that, like, no joke, if you're thinking about that, that's the deadline. If you do need more time, email us at hello@thecommunitycollective.co as well. And if you have concerns, just apply, book a call and chat with us then. You can, if you still get accepted, you can obviously still decide if you want to join. Run, Tila. And our program overview guide is a PDF. We've created this so you can send it to your boss or your team as well if you need professional development support. That PDF kind of is a nice element for you to share with the team. And of course, connect with our alumni. Connect with Leah, Tila, Simon. Send them a message on LinkedIn. Ask them a question. Speak to them about something that you might be on the fence about, because this really is an experience to support. But if there's anything that has kind of resonated with you and you feel curious or a charm or a pull as to why this is resonating with you, then just bite the bullet. We are on the other side, here, ready and willing. So you will all get an email in 1 minute, and there is a gift to give you all free access to our resource library. There's over hundreds of tech tools, platforms, books, articles, frameworks, reports about community building that I have curated, that our whole community over the last 3 years have built and curated. So this is usually a couple $100. We're giving you all free access. It's in the email. You just click the link and follow the steps. So thank you all so much for joining. What a freaking fun time that was. Leah, Tila, Simon, you're amazing. Enos, thanks for being all the vibes. Congrats everyone for just being here and having some fun. I will see you on the other side in cohort number 6. Bye everyone. Have a beautiful day.